shit.
Welcome back to another episode of Almost Above Average, and today's headlines paint a dramatic picture around the health and presence of former President Donald Trump. Over the past weeks, he's been noticeably missing from key public events, and whenever he does appear, questions about his cognitive abilities and his physical health only seem to multiply. President Trump has recently been spotted with persistent bruising on his hands and visible swelling in his ankles, sparking speculation across mainstream and social media, while the White House claims that these are harmless side effects of routine handshakes. Yeah, right. And his daily aspirin regimen. Critics, including his own niece, Mary Trump, have raised alarms about his cognitive decline and even suggested that he may be battling a specific type of dementia. Mary points to repeated incidents in Trump stumbling, rambling, forgetting names, and making bizarre public statements, such as his impromptu press conference on the White House roof and his outlandish suggestion to build a nuclear reactor on the moon, as signs of more serious deterioration. Trump's absence from the public eye only intensifies this speculation, leaving a void that is being filled with rumor and concern, not just about his health, but the future of leadership of the country. As we brace for the political and social ripple effects, the headlines continue to ask, is Trump fit to lead, or are these symptoms indicative of a deeper issue the public deserves to know about? Jonathan, watching these all developments unfold, Trump's missing in action status, cognitive question, and now the bruises and swelling, what do you make of this narrative? Do these incidents point to something bigger? And what's being left unsaid in today's political discourse?
There's a bear shit in the woods? Yes. So that old adage is fun. I think there's three different aspects we need to look at. One, we have seen a significant decline over this last few years, and his ability to just come up with unconscionable, unimaginable, heavy lie-laden conversations or speeches or whatever.
Would you consider them to be lies? I don't think the man has his cognitive function together. So, I don't think he knows if he's lying.
Well, okay, so look at it that way. Either he's lying knowingly or he's incapable and unfit of being present. MAGA, you get to pick. All right,
For sure.
Back up. All right, so let's assume that he's not completely off the chain. He talked about what was it? His uncle teaching the Unabomber at Harvard or something like that. And all three of those parts are false. One, the Unabomber didn't go to that school. His uncle wouldn't have taught
the timing was
while
off.
the Unabomber was in school. And they never met. There was a multi-year gap. It's just the fact that he can say, oh, I'm going to cut prescription drugs by 1,500% shows just unimaginable incontinence.
Incontinence or incompetence?
Either way. Well,
President Trump, the incontinence president, for sure.
Well, there are videos where he appears to be shitting himself on live TV. I
can almost smell him through the video.
Anyway, all right. So I talked about it before. I'm going to recover it real fast. There was an incident in his first term in office where he was rushed to, I forget the name of the hospital, the ones that all the presidents go to at
Walter
that
Reed.
time. And they're like, oh, he had to go in for an emergency checkup. There's no such thing. No. You don't go in.
Emergency checkup. Yeah. That's a funny phrase.
Yeah. He's fine. He was just getting a check, but he had to
emergency maintenance.
Yeah.
Hurry up and maintain that.
Yeah. The skin was showing through, or his alien skin was showing through. Anyway. So a lot of people speculated he had a stroke then, and behavioral analysis and different doctors have done various critiques, and they've showed a pattern of behavioral change pre and post that event. And then fast forward to this term in office, which we all know any president gets accelerated aging because of the massive amount of stress and hassle and fear and pressure. If you look at Obama going in and out of office, he went from a younger, more lively guy to an older, more wrinkled, gray hair.
Gray and wrinkled.
Everybody that goes into presidency, because of the stress of being the leader of the free world, just weathers them immensely. But let's rewind back to the event that I talked about last time where he was at, was it the G7 or G9 summit or something like that? And he had all these negotiations planned with various countries. And then on the first night or second night, something like that, he disappeared. They just packed up their stuff and left hard out of there. And people presidents were like, where is he? He's not showing up to our meeting, because they didn't even notify everybody because it happened so fast. And a lot of people speculated that he had another fit. But then after a little bit of time passed, people did the same analysis. What is his behavior like? What is his speech patterns like? How is he communicating? Is what he's saying more broken? Is he showing other signs? And you did. His movement changed. He became a lot more unsteady. There was speech patterns. The things he was talking about were a lot more things are just made up bullshit or dementia heavily setting in. And what a lot of people don't realize is like stroke victims will have brain damage and neural pathways will just get broken and then shorted out. And a lot of his stories, like almost everything he says now, is either a blatant lie or it's what he's been told, or it's just horse's assery. Like you can't reduce the prices of medicine by 1,500%. Let's do the math real fast. If you reduce the price of a $100 item by 50%, you multiply it by half, it's $50. If you reduce the price of something by 100%, it becomes free. If you reduce the price by $1,500, that $100 item now they're going to pay you $1,400 to take it. And that's not what
That's a
medicine
great
comes.
deal. That sounds like a great deal. Maybe Trump is the art of the deal. If he's selling things
Oh
at
my
a
gosh.
1,500%
What deal?
percent discount, that
The
means I have
only
$1,500 in my pocket.
Look, the only deals he's made has been for him and his family. That's why he's, was it, $3.4 billion richer in 8 months. But anyway,
I think Trump
so
is completely checked out. I don't think he gives a shit about this presidency. He just
I
wants
know
to be
he
rich until he dies.
so there was a video televised, and this is a big thing that people started talking about, what was it, about a week ago or something, where he had 3 press conferences from the White House in one day. And in one of them, they were filming it. It was a cabinet meeting. And they literally went around the room licking his ass, talking about, oh, you're the greatest president. And if it weren't for you, this bad thing would have happened. Oh my God, your decisions on it was just total smoke up ass. But there was like one scene where the guy was like, I don't know why they won't nominate you and give you the Nobel Peace Prize or a Nobel Prize. Like, you're the best candidate that's ever existed for a Nobel Prize since they started the whole thing. It's like, oh my God, this level of ass kissing is just egregious. And people will comment on stuff like they are just sucking up to him because his visual side has become so dogmatic that like Kirshner got pushed out and Gabbard and whatnot got dinged, and like he's starting to turn
What
on people
happened? I didn't
because
hear
his
about them. I've been on the road for the last week. I haven't really been caught up on the news.
yeah, a lot of people are
will
like
be
those
following.
two individuals are going to get fired
They got kicked
anytime
out?
now. No, not yet, but they're thinking they might be here anytime
Hmm,
now. Like they're not being
interesting.
invited to the cabinet
What about
staff.
Kash Patel? Is he on
Screw
his
that
way
guy.
out? Because he fucking should be. You
I
piece of
hope
shit.
so. I still think his girlfriend's a Russian agent, but that's my personal opinion. Anyway, so if you look at what his cabinet meetings, and I've heard more and more that these are the only meetings he's having now, these kinds of meetings where he talks about the stuff or where somebody comes and briefs him verbally because he can't read
He
the
doesn't want to
stuff
get
anymore.
seen.
And then he goes and he repeats and he's making gibberish statements. It's incoherent. And he's having these perfect calls. But then the presidents of the other countries like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. Like president after president. And I heard a statement that right now the Chinese are talking about a 300% tariff and Trump started talking about 200% tariff. I was like, what month is this? Did we already do this? And it was because of magnets or something. No, it's not. It's just because he doesn't know what year it is or what month it is. But my point is like, oh, we're almost done with negotiating a deal with China. 300% tariffs. This guy's just lost his bolt.
Hey, if you've made it this far in the video, hit subscribe. Hit subscribe and leave a comment. I want to know how these tariffs are affecting you out there, especially from the MAGA supporters. How are the tariffs affecting your day-to-day life? Let me
What
tell
was
you
it?
this quick story about how they affected my life the other day. So I do roofing for my daily profession, and I have a drone. I have a DJI drone, which is super sick. It wasn't even the nicest DJI drone, but you get a warranty at Best Buy when you buy one, and you can crash it up to 2 times a year and get a free replacement. I've replaced it twice now in the last year. But I went back in this time since the tariffs were in place. This was last week and tried to swap my DJI drone. You can't get a DJI drone in Best Buy. I think in America, they said they're not bringing any more DJI drones into America because of the tariffs, the supply line. There's certain parts that they can't manufacture at the level where they can import to the
Did
United
I
States.
send
At least
you?
that's what I heard. So that's affecting my income. That's affecting my daily life and my pleasure time. Like I use that for fun as well. So anyway, what are you guys experiencing about the tariffs out in the world, MAGA? I'd really love to know.
Here it is. So this is a quick thing that somebody put together. So for those who don't know, there was an exception to the tariffs called de minimis. It used to be $200 and then went to $800. And it was any shipment that had a declared value of less than $800 was exempt from tariffs. And the reason this existed is so many packages come into the US that are of small value, 20 bucks, 40 bucks, $100, that to try to collect and to try to assess it, verify
30%
it,
on an
and
$8
collect
item.
it was just unreasonable. And the first time de minimis went down and they took it off the board, the post office and everybody trying to collect the money and all that, they either just said, screw it, we can't do this yet, ship it on through, or they literally shut it down and shipments went from being a day to 2 days getting through customs to almost 2 weeks was to back
Jeez.
up until the de minimis was declared. They just said to hell with it, send it on through. De minimis ended last week. Again, these countries have stopped shipment to the US because they're not going to deal with the collecting of the tariffs because the United States is not set up to keep it or to figure out how to collect it or even how to put it forward. And to be honest with you, Trump's changing them so fast, they can't keep the rulings up. They don't. And with all this stuff that Doge did, they literally don't know how to even calculate it in a real time value in an expedient way to be able to get the packages through. So they told these countries, we need you to go by these forms that we'll update as we can, and then you collect the money and send it to us, and then you do it for us. And these countries said,
So like a
nah,
third
nah,
party.
bro, we're done. The postal carriers of those countries. So the postal carriers of those countries said, oh, fam, we're good. So they are stopping shipping to the US. That's how stupid all this tariff stuff is and our government is. And if you think that's like, oh, well, they just need to figure it out, it's like, well, here's the thing. When you need to invoke a ruling in order to get manufacturing here, you do it in stages, you let people have prepared time, you ramp up what you need to have in place to execute on the plan. Like, do we send the military into war zones with no plan, no artillery, and no weapons and no equipment? No, because that's stupid. But we're
That is
doing
stupid.
that to the businesses right now, trying to get product in. We can't make everything that we want to consume in the US. It's not feasible, it's not possible. And sometimes it's not scientifically possible at all, like coffee. We can't grow coffee in the US, not possible. We can't grow cocoa in the US. But instead, Trump decided to put major tariffs on those countries in order to punish the different governments like Venezuela. Venezuela is one of the biggest exporters of coffee for the US. And because Trump is mad about them finally going to put on trial the guy that did what he tried to do on January 6th, which is overthrow the government, because they are going to put him on trial legally, appropriately, and per the direction and will of the people under democratic law and democratic leadership. He decided to invoke a personal egregiance against Venezuela and has put a tariff, and coffee prices are now going through the roof. And now he's stationed ships off of the Venezuelan coast, hoping to pressure them into continuing to send their goods, even though there's going to be massive tariffs. And don't forget, Trump already admitted, his cabinet's already admitted, MAGA's already admitted, it's a tax on American citizens. You are paying the taxes. Your money is going out for the same product. You are being robbed.
So that argument is done too. You are going to pay for that. We all pay for the tariffs. I can't believe we're still teaching people what a tariff is.
Well, listen, like 30% of the country still believes the world's flat, so there's only so much we can do.
Ugh.
But I think the big part is all these countries have stopped shipping to the US. And if you think that makes us the leader, you got to remember, they're all still shipping to each other. They're just cutting us out. We're like the mean bully on the play yard, and all the kids are going to the other side of the playground and leaving us to ourselves. And we're going to sulk over there and be
Yep.
without fun.
We're leaving
So,
a gap in the trade market that other countries are filling.
so let's
Like
talk about
they
that for
don't
a
need to get
second.
it from us
We'll get back
anymore.
to Trump's health in a second. Trump also tweeted, maybe he tweeted, maybe his people tweeted, we'll get back to that in a second, that he was mad and he was talking about imposing new tariffs on China, India, and Russia. Well, why did that? Because they had a summit in the last few days, and those three leaders met and came up with a trade agreement, and they're cutting us out, and they're going around our backs, and they're going to make shit tons of money doing all the stuff they're doing, and we have lost complete control of the situation, and we're going to hurt everybody viewing this right now by either preventing you from getting your goods or taxing the ever living shit out of it. Good job.
Well, that's good
Art of
news.
the deal, fuckers.
I
All right,
know
so
I'm
back to the
excited.
health thing. So Wednesday, there was a conference and he talked about stuff. We've seen his hand. We talked about his hand on the last of our podcasts. It's not going away. Shaking. So when you shake the hand, the top of your thumb comes over here, but his patch is all through here. Well, what's through here? Right here is a vein that returns to your heart on this hand. So on your right hand is the return path. So the reason you have the ring on here is because there's a vein that comes from your heart down into here and it comes back into your body. The corollary side has one that returns from here back to your heart. So if you need heart medication, you have two places that are generally used, your right arm or your neck, and they're not going to stick him in his neck with everything he's got going on. So right arm's the most common, right hand's the most common. That's where the vein goes in. That happened to the Queen of England. It happened to other people. It happens to, like, go to a retirement home if you don't believe me. Go ask a doctor. It's not that complicated. But he's getting intravenous medication for his heart failures. So Wednesday, there was a big event and he just went radio silent. And after a few days, people were like, wait a minute. The guy who literally posts like 100 Twitters a day and is in the news all the time and all these press conferences and all this horse disastery went quiet, dead
Mhm.
quiet. And people are like, oh, that's weird. And then I'll be honest with you, a lot of people were relieved and were like, oh, silence. That's so nice. But then after a few days, we were like, wait a minute, because everybody knew his health was in jeopardy. We already talked about this on his last podcast about his legs, veins. And for those who don't know, the bloating of the legs is a great and active sign of heart failure. What happens is, as your heart goes into failure, depending on why, but for him being obese and eating like shit, it's probably pretty obvious. He's going into heart failure. He's been in heart failure for a while, is my guess. Fluid will build up because your heart will be pushing stuff through, blood will move through, but the fluid won't get through. Go Google your calves or your second heart. You'll start learning about how movement, walking helps your heart circulate your blood, all that kind of stuff. Which is why all guys need to be working out legs days or calves. Anyway,
Don't skip
so
calves,
fluid
gentlemen.
buildup in your legs is one of the big external signs of heart failure. In fact, I have a relative right now that's having to deal with that. He has to take a diuretic medication to try to flush that out. And even with that, he has the exact same problem, swollen legs from extra fluid from heart failure. It's not your veins are backing out. That's all a bunch of horseshit they're feeding you. And I heard recently the doctor who announced that doesn't have his doctor's license anymore. He got kicked off the medical board, kicked out, and took away his license. Like he's a
That's par for the
defamed
course in the Trump administration. If
ex-doctor.
you're a lawyer, you're gonna get disbarred. If you're a doctor, you're gonna lose your medical license. Like that's the par for the course if you work for the Trump administration. You're screwed.
So then fast forward a couple
Elon
days.
Musk.
And then what was it? Saturday? Maybe it was either Friday or Saturday. Saturday, I think it was, when they started posting them. Oh, he's at the golf course. He's doing great. And then I was like, this feels weird. Something's wrong.
Suspect.
I'm not going to be the one that does the analysis, but I'll go through it. So the first one showed him walk next to a ramp and some other stuff. Do you have that image?
Let me try to find a clip.
So the clip and most of those images are from mid-June, mid to late June, like June 8th or June 28th, something like that. A lot of those images are from June. And if you go back through his Twitter feed and through the people in the Twitter feeds, you can find those images from June. Yeah. And there's two of them that are out there. One where he's on the golf cart and he's trying to shake hands with somebody, but his arm's kind of extra long, which is weird. And
Found this clip. Let me play this clip of that. It's the hook on the text on it says Trump is not dead, golfing with grandkids. That was why I was giggling.
which was also from June.
Right. Let's see.
Yep. That was from June.
This
That
was from
video
June?
was pulled up. It was from June, like 27th or 28th, something like that. People went back onto his feed, found the video that goes with it. It's got the date timestamp. It's from June. In fact, every video or picture has either been photoshopped or is from like June or something.
So he
Like
looks.
one
That
of them
means
was
he
even from
probably went golfing.
February.
He looks real fucked up.
There's a couple of photos that people had with him in a gray hat. The hat kind of goes back really far, and there's this like blurry spot behind his head. And that this video is from like last month as well. Like,
This one is.
yeah, like so. People got back and found the videos. They're from like last month or before.
Why is CNBC posting
Fox
old
News, if
footage?
I remember correctly, posted this first.
Posted the old video, old footage first. That
Yeah,
sounds right in lockstep with the administration. Fox News,
yeah.
you bunch of freaking
And
pansies.
if I remember correctly, CNBC and Fox News didn't actually capture this. This was released by the White House, and they're just replaying it. And people are confused because they don't realize that, well, wait a minute, why is the same video on multiple sources? I don't understand because it was released by the White House. That's an old fit. Like these are all the old videos. So
That
there's
is
to
hilarious.
so the internet sleuths out there have gone and found that they're all old videos. It's all there's photoshops. And what's been really fun to get into is there's some newer pictures that came out with him and the beast and getting into the beast. And people have done like zoom ins and enhancements, and that doesn't look like Trump. It doesn't look like him. His face is all wrong. But you know the one thing that really stood out to me in all these? His face isn't orange.
It wasn't. I saw those, like, he didn't
Yeah.
put makeup on recently.
And there was one of him walking out, and they had a side shot of him, and he has a black shirt and pants on, a black tennis or not tennis, golf shirt and jacket and black pants on and a hat and all that. And then they put a side by side of that picture with one from last month. And him in that black outfit was 20 to 30 pounds lighter, a much smaller belly than he was just a month ago. So that's been funny to watch the internet sleuths get a hold
So
of.
are you saying, J Train,
Body
that the
double.
Trump administration is being dishonest about Trump's health condition, about his cognitive decline?
So why are they releasing old videos? Why are they releasing old pictures? Why is
His
he only
doctors
tweeting
even
at
lying
night?
for him.
Let's be honest. If Trump was alive and this was hitting so hard, what do you think he would have done if he was in good health? He would have had a fucking press conference.
Oh, yeah. You
Where's
got
his
to capitalize on that shit.
like he would
Everybody
have
who's in
walked
the
out
limelight knows
there and
that.
he would have gone he'd been like, I'm going to sue all these people saying I'm dead. I'm not dead. I'm not Obama. I'm not sleepy. Like he would have been up there just ripping and roaring. But like the fact that we haven't had a press conference makes it either my theory is, and this is my theory based on everything I've seen, he's either dead right now and they don't want to announce it yet because they're trying to get JD Vance in. They're trying to get him up to speed and get ready. They know that there's nothing imminent, so they're not worrying about like a tactical assault, all that kind of stuff. And they got to get uh, time to make the transition because, unlike every other president in history, the following for MAGA isn't behind MAGA. The following for MAGA and the whole plan of Project 2025 hinges on a person, not the movement, not the ideology, but behind their orange demigod of Trump. And if Trump falls off the picture, if they announced Friday that he's dead, like the day after, the whole thing would implode. The whole MAGA thing would implode.
It does implode, but I think it just takes on a different form with just Dance Vance at the head of it. Like it just
I
becomes something else. I
I
think the
don't
MAGA
think
movement is
Eyeliner
never going to
Boy.
die. There's too many people that believe in it, just like the Nazi Party has still here. Like the
I
Nazis are still around.
but he's not the one that people have on flags. He's not the one that people got tattoos of or have him on the side of a truck or walk around their shirts. He's not the one that they put the black marks on their hand to be same or wear the diaper for when the diaper gate came around. They didn't wear the ear patch. Like they don't follow the I want to say Antichrist
They
just
don't
because
follow
of
what
the
he does.
rhetoric.
They like him because he's bold, but they would never do that. They would never be that bold themselves.
So I heard something recently and it stuck and I heard it this weekend. Trump is what a dumb person believes is a smart person. What
Oh
an
my God.
ignorant person's believe is a smart person. What a weak person believes is a strong person. And what a coward believes is a brave person. It's the ignorant person's view of what they think the other should be. The other thing I read was this is gonna be tough. Megan's gonna get mad on this one. But
Leave it in
the
the comments. Put your anger in
analysis,
the comments, MAGA.
this isn't my opinion. I didn't do the research, but one of the analysts and researchers I saw said that MAGA as a whole has a fifth grade reading level. And when you realize that like 30 to 40% of men over the age of 30 can't read, that starts becoming a little bit more relevant. You average it out, right? Trump talks to everybody in a sixth grade reading level, which makes it more relatable and more understandable.
So he's the God figure.
So he is relatable to people with a lower level of knowledge. I'll just go with knowledge. And JD Vance ripped into this over the weekend. It was really good. He was talking about something that Trump had written about. He's going to sign an executive order to get rid of mail in ballots, which is illegal because mail in ballots are protected by the Constitution. Just saying.
Boom.
In fact, a lot of courts are starting to come out saying that most of these executive orders are illegal or
Yeah, bitch.
unenforceable.
Yeah, bitch.
That's why the appeals court is ruled the tariffs illegal. They're putting a moratorium and to investigate and figure out which ones they need to get rid of, that kind of stuff. It's pretty neat. Not the first time that's happened, but now that he's starting to lose more and more, if he does die, the courts are going to shred most of Project 2025 because it's really illegal when you really get into it. Like the ability for women to be able to vote is something that they're trying to work around by doing this new voter ID thing through. Anyway, so if he dies, all this goes away. Basically, Project 2025 dies. When it dies, Democrats will take the lead and Newsom's going to rip them apart. So he said in this tweet, like, hey, I'm going to sign executive order, get rid of mail-in voting because the military that's far, far away will need to use paper ballots. And it's like, those of us that graduated third grade know that it's not far, far away. It's overseas. It's just like, that's hilarious. But the fact that he talks like that is trying to show a level of stupidity that's just above the average of his base. And let's be honest, his people have done a shit ton and have put a metric boatload of money into figuring out MAGA and how to communicate through psychology and behavioral analysts and all that. And they have really worked on fine tuning. And that's why they picked Trump, because he naturally aligns to that and can play it off the cuff. But with his failing brain, his inability to put together anything cognitive, the really harsh reality that he is in significant decline, it's all coming apart, it seems. Like, it's hard for me to understand how somebody in today's actually graduated high school or college looking at a clip of him talking could say that's a smart guy, because it's not. It's stupid. Like,
No.
well, this guy, like, I know said that, like, we're getting screwed and we're losing trillions of dollars. It's like, he told people we're making trillions of dollars a month on tariffs. And it's like, no, we collected 29 billion on tariffs last month, which is a lot different than $4 trillion. Now you're going, well, he meant, no. We don't do what he meant. Don't say what he meant. You say what he said. And I'm tired of hearing MAGA go, oh, well,
That's not what he meant.
he meant, like, no. This is the president of the United States. We take exactly what he says at face value. If he jokes around about, a lot of people like a dictator, I think I should be a dictator. You should take that for gospel. You
He's
should
been
take
talking
for
about the
gospel that people
uneducated
are
for
saying,
years.
but
He's been talking about the uneducated for years. He likes the Republicans because they're uneducated and they're
there's
easier to trick. He's been saying shit like
there's
that forever. That's
that's
what he
been,
thinks of you guys.
in fact, when, for anybody who thinks that's blowing smoke or that we're making stuff up, it is not. It has been out there for, was it like 40 years or 30 years?
Yeah, this is not a secret.
When he was first getting into business out there and really getting his name known for different things, he was interviewed by, I don't remember if it was a newspaper or a TV network or something. And that actually is something he said. He goes, if I was to run for office, I'd run as a Republican because they're really stupid. And it's like, okay. And what did he do? He went and ran as a Republican. That's a quote out there. Go find it. Have fun with it. That's a lateral quote. In fact, if
Here,
you look,
I have the clip. Let's watch
yeah,
it.
play the clip. It's real. He thinks you're idiots, and he knows you're idiots. Click the wide view down there, the triangle or the rectangle. Click that rectangle right there. Yeah, there you go. Now play. There you go. People Magazine.
So if I were to run, I'd run as a Republican. They're the dumbest group of voters in the country. They believe anything on Fox. That was in 1998. That's still true.
Fast forward almost 30 years later, nothing's changed.
Nothing.
He was dead on accurate. You guys thought he was a successful businessman. He's bankrupt pretty
And
much
he's thought you
every
were stupid
company
for at
he's
least
ever owned.
30.
You thought he was a man of God. He was convicted of stealing from a kid's charity that he ran under his name. You think that the Russians are out to get them. He was busted for money laundering for the Russians. You think he is not associated with Epstein. There are a boatload of clips with him and Epstein together, him talking about how good it is and how they partied. There's pictures of him with underage girls on the plane. Like,
The wonderful secrets.
oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
Everything this guy denies and tries to put on the Democrats is the shit they're doing. Anything he it's projection. Because in his mind, if he's doing it, why wouldn't the other side do it? And if he's doing it, then he can blame the other side because they got to be doing it if he's doing it. And that's the mentality of it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Pretty
they're
much.
doing it if he's doing it. So if he says this guy, like if he calls somebody something, you can almost guarantee he is. Like Sleepy Joe, and then Trump's falling asleep every time. And I don't know if you heard about this, the newest thing. He told people early last week he wasn't happy with the military parade in
I remember that, and he's going to
DC.
do another one.
So now he's going to do one with boats, and he's going to have a new boat one. It's like, what?
That's going to go the same way the boat rally went when he was running for office. Remember they did this big boat thing in Florida
I
that
also
turned out
remember
to
a
be
bunch of them sinking.
yeah, that it turned out to be a flop. It's going to be just like that. Like he can't recreate. We as a country, we are not like that. We don't
Well,
put our military out and make sure they're perfectly dressed and moving perfectly to
yeah, there's a reason
adore
we've never
them. We
done that.
don't do that for adoration. Especially we don't do that in honor of the president. Like that is king shit. We're not worshipers in America. That's not who we are.
And
Like
you
we
know
elect
why?
someone that we think will better our country, better our lives, help our families. We don't pick a leader because, oh my God, I want to listen to everything he says. I want to do whatever he wants. That's not what it is in America. That's not how it has ever been in my lifetime. We
So
have power. We have the power. We don't need to flex all the time. That is our power.
anyway, so is he dead? I don't know. I don't think I'm that lucky, to be honest. I'm expecting more tyranny before this is over. Would America be better off if he was dead? Yes, I honestly believe so. Do I wish ill of
Let
our
me know in the
president?
comments. What do you
No.
think?
I don't wish our president ill. I wish him in prison, but I don't wish him bad health. There's a difference. I don't wish him harm. I don't wish him illness. I wish him prison. There's a difference.
Amen. I don't want to say what I wish him because I don't want to appear like an asshole.
Now, the other question is, do I want JD Vance as president? And was it Mike Johnson as the vice president then, if I remember correctly? Something like that? I'm like, no.
Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House.
Yeah, isn't this what's the
As Vice President and then Speaker.
here, I'll pull it up. So it goes, it's vice president, speaker of the House, and the current speaker of the House is Mike Johnson, right? So there you go. Yep, there it is. So if something does happen to Trump or has, then it's JD Vance and Mike Johnson. But the problem is the whole line of secession, all the way through this whole 18 list, is all Republican. It's not like it's going to get better when a Democrat gets next in line or anything. There's no next in line, short of a complete overthrow of the government through voting and peaceful protests, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, that's the
Well,
thing.
take us out of here, Jonathan.
Leave a comment. Do you think the president's dead? Did the Simpsons get it right and he died in August like they anticipated? How much longer has he got? Do you think he actually has congestive heart failure? Congestive heart failure. Go Google that and look it up. Swollen legs and bloating and fluid buildup is one of the big indicators. So was the weakness. So was the tired. So was the imbalance. So was the loss of strength. So is signs of stroke being the inability to talk and think and remember. It's like, it's just common. It's common knowledge. Go look it up if you don't know it. Do you think he had a stroke again? Like, how many strokes can this guy sustain? Because I'm confident he's already had 2. If he had another one on Wednesday, that might be the last one. Like, I don't know. Are we lucky enough to have something like that happen? Is a third of the country or half the country going to be celebrating on Tuesday? Like, what's going to happen?
We shall see. I'm sure there'll be another round of protests coming up soon, but we'll see.
Either that or champagne sales are going to go through the roof.
Yes. Right. Hey, before we get out of here, let's do a quick little shout out. I want to give a shout out to Grammy N. She left a really nice comment. We get tons of shitty comments all the time, but I wanted to highlight a good one. She said, Grammy N, I just found you and I'm loving this. I'm an old lady in NC and I completely agree with everything you're saying. One of the main reasons I'm loving this is because I always use the same language you guys are using and getting called out for it. Apparently, old ladies shouldn't be getting pissed off and ripping the orange pig eye motherfucker. No, Granny, you absolutely need to be ripping this orange orangutan looking motherfucker up. I'm perfectly okay with it, and I appreciate your comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Grammy.
Thank you, Grammy. My name is Chris McIntyre. This is the Almost Above Average podcast with my co-host JTrain McDouglas. I just made that shit up. Anyway, hit subscribe and tune into the next episode. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.